we're live.
Hey folks.
Hi everyone, welcome. We'll just wait for a minute to get people rolling and then we'll start.
Sure.
Because it's delayed on, yeah, Twitter. You're back in Goa, Raj?
I am. I've always been in Goa and yeah, like still here, building on
Okay.
the internet for the
Um,
internet. Right.
yeah.
Um,
Cool.
just waiting for VO3 access
VOC.
to unlock. In fact, a bit of like I think the challenge that I've been facing over the last few days, especially around creating content, we'll get into it in depth in a bit, right? It's especially around how most models are refusing to create content focused around kids, right, or featuring kids for, of course, obvious reasons around safety and so on. But in trying to create legit content, right, like let's say travel content or parenting tips, whatever it could be, featuring kids, it's been quite a pain. And Google, I think, has been leading the charge when it comes to being a pain. Even while using VO2, I've not been able to pass through. I've got a bunch of Google credits, but I've not been able to put them to any use uh, unless I contact some account administrator and so on, which I guess is nearly impossible to find. So yeah, let's see how this
Yeah.
performs.
Awesome. Great. Cool. I think we can start now. We have a few people rolling in. Hi everyone, welcome back to another stream. So for this stream, we have someone super special. We have Raj here. I'm sure everyone in India knows Stoa or has heard of Stoa. So of course, Raj needs no introduction. But I'll have Raj also quickly introduce himself as well, and then we can get started.
Yeah, hi folks. Yeah, my previous startup, rather institution that I had built was in the education space. We were, out to disrupt the MBA business education landscape in India. Currently, I call myself as a, just another vagabond on the internet. I'm exploring uh, all things AI, be it from the agentic workflow point of view, or generating synthetic content. Largely been into textual content, especially for platforms such as LinkedIn, Twitter. Been using a lot of AI to create long form narratives. But as of the last week, I've been interested in generating video content because I believe we've come to the point where you know where we can spin up reels, entire movies perhaps someday, using purely synthetic content. You don't need to step out of the house in order to produce something that would have otherwise taken $1 million, right? So yeah, excited to create a few clips and probably try and understand them, understand what it would have taken otherwise if not for the technology that we have today, to make this happen. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Also, before we do get into it, I'm curious to know what tools have you been actively using when you play around with generative AI, and what have you been noticing in terms of strengths and weaknesses with it?
I think I've spent a lot of my time toying around with just the zoo of models, right? When I began with visual storytelling, I think 3 years ago, 2023, I got started with Midjourney. I think Midjourney was the best at that point of time when it came to uh, just good imagery, right? Like understood how to get a good prompt working in Midjourney. So then Midjourney 4 or 5 was just released. After that, I was playing with photo AI stuff on photo AI, right? Like LoRa models, where you could upload a bunch of your photos and then generate synthetic photos of yourself and other people. That was something that caught my interest, and but then the use case to that was pretty limited. Right, I didn't find the performance of it to be also as good. Photos still didn't look real. Right? There was that sheen. You could still tell that these photos have been generated by AI. And then I just fell off the bandwagon for I think about a year or so when it comes to visual generation. Back on it again with what Flux has been doing. I like a lot of their models, especially Flux Laura's. I am interested in uh, video models as well. I think Kling, for example, has been doing good work in those regards, like it's purely video stuff. As of late, like as of today, my current workflow involves Google Image Gen uh, 4
Right.
to generate, to go from a Claude based storyboard, create an image on ImageGen, probably the most realistic image generator that I've come across. It has its own flaws. I've still not cracked like prompting on it in order
Mhm.
to get those, realistic photos that you take on your iPhone or whatever. I've not cracked the prompt yet, but comes pretty close. Taking those images, going into a bunch of these video models, right? Like be it Van, be it I think Kling, like Kling models do a good job at the same, and then putting it together on Edits app on my phone, getting some slapping some captions on, and
Okay.
generating an entire synthetic reel. Right, like
Yeah.
that's been a dream of mine. I want to create a reel that most people can't distinguish, whether it's real footage or it's
Mhm.
synthetic footage. And I don't even mean that okay, this looks like AI, but whatever, it's still possible. I mean, someone just can't tell whether this is real or not. So that's, I think, the gold standard for me, and I think we're getting very close to that. But
Nice.
it's painful. It's extremely painful. I think I've spent the last 3 days trying to put together 130-second reel
Oh
across three or
wow.
four different tools, like just retrying, changing the
Yeah.
prompt. Uh, Works at the image stage, but then fails at the, let's say,
Video.
video stage,
Yeah.
and so on. Right? I've got more bloopers than actual usable footage, and God bless that. To get to go to go do a good job on Instagram, you probably just need 1.5 to 2 second clips, because any 5 second clip has three
Mhm.
seconds of junk with faces
Right.
getting blemished and blurred and whatnot. So yeah, it's a tough life. It tests my patience, but
Mhm.
I definitely see something here, and I've been telling a bunch of people, like bunch of young folks, that if you're looking to start an agency or uh, make good money, like figure out a workflow over all of these tools wherein you can just make 5 6 reels a day, which look completely real, um, which would have otherwise taken a lot of money or a lot of like feet on the street to produce. Like let's take the case of travel, right? If I want to create great travel content, it's not easy because I either need some stock footage, uh, or I need someone actually going on location and getting me the kind of clips in the settings that accurately reflect the storyboard that I have, right?
Mhm.
Which is extremely hard. Like I cannot on day zero, a brand cannot have people all over the world sourcing
True.
content from, let's say, a Vietnam um, to a Turkey to Europe, right? If I'm, let's say, creating content, let's say travel guides or travel content for seniors in India, right?
Mhm.
I cannot I cannot sit in one place and just create content on the fly unless I use AI. So
Right.
that's why I'm pretty much excited by what this unlocks when it comes to like storytelling, be it based in the real world
Mhm.
or something mythical. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we also have
Wow.
Sonia joining
Hi,
us.
Samya.
Yeah. Bro, you want to
What's
create
up?
a real reel? Yeah, it's so good to see you,
Of
man.
A fake real reel. Yes.
A fake real dude. Like, I was wondering what you're up to. You're a great fake videos, dude. Epic.
Yeah, that's where life has brought us, my friend. Fake money and fake reels, but real stuff. Yeah, real economic value at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Dude, we got Raj on base. How cool is that?
Yeah, I love it, dude. And I feel like he's also one of those people that I heard him talk about how he's spending time doing a 30-second clip for days. And I thought, okay, this guy's got to give like you and Palak some insane feedback, right?
Oh yeah. No, Raj, everything you were saying about, that struggle, that's exactly I think why Morphic was built, because you using four different tools and then struggling in the betweens just to get that bright output. We kind of solved that into like basically implementing all of this into one workflow within one interface. So you don't have to go to like six or seven different tools to execute just one of 30-second reel. So those 3 days hopefully becomes one day with Morphic.
I hope you all do a great job at it, because my other alternative right now is to vibe code this
Yes.
workflow out.
Mm.
I know what I want, so I know I can go to Replit and say, "Ki, hey, this is the workflow that I have.
Stitch.
Please just build this out for me so that I don't waste my time, hopping four tabs." Uh, yeah, so please do
Yes.
a good job
Yeah.
at it. Otherwise, I'm gonna be, forced to also struggle with Replit while at it and burn some API credits and all
Yeah.
that jazz. I don't want to get into that.
Don't worry. My entire team is. I told them to join this so they get the proper feedback. I know you're gonna grill us,
Let's
so this will
go.
be good.
Okay, I just came to say
Yeah.
hi. I'm gonna
Yeah.
bounce. All right. See you
Bye.
guys.
See you on
Bye.
the
Have
other
fun.
side, my friend.
See you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Cool. So, how do
Awesome.
you want to get started this? Do you want to share your
Okay.
screen? Do you want me to share mine?
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you share your screen and have you
Mhm.
navigate Morphic yourself. You're a new user, so this will be great to see. And I know you said you had a script ready, so we can work with that as well. And maybe just start off and see how far you can get within this 1 hour. And of
All right.
course, I'm just
So,
yeah.
let me share my screen. Okay. Let me do this. All right. So, just let me know if my screen is visible and good to go.
Awesome. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's my interface. Let me figure out how I go about this. I'll walk you through what I want to create. And I want to create a reel around, um, this is a reel narrated by, let's say, a travel influencer, a mother who's been to Vietnam, let's say, and wants to communicate to other parents around what they should do and should not get into or should not do in Vietnam, right? That's the setting setup. I don't have the footage right for it because I'm just a poor person on the internet. I
Mhm.
can't pay for stock video subscription, and even if I could, I think there is the layer of stock footage that exists in this domain, like the specific clips that I want, don't exist, right? So I feel like reading out the script just to
Sure.
set the context, right? So the hook goes as, forget the resort. Here's what your kids will actually remember about Vietnam, right? Just a strong bait for parents who otherwise associate travel with just getting pickled in that resort pool, right? So you start off with not the hotel pool, but making spring rolls with a grandmother who doesn't speak English and somehow understanding every gesture you make.
Mm.
Not the tourist boats, but riding on the back of dad's motorbike through Hanoi's chaos and feeling completely safe, right?
Mhm.
Not the kids menu, but but slurping pho on tiny plastic stools at 6 a.m. using chopsticks like a local. So I'm sure you can visualize the storyboard as I go along. You want to show the contrast for each of these by showing the not so fun way of doing things as well as
Yes.
the recommended or the more fun dreamy way of doing things and so on, right? So not the souvenir shop, but learning to count to 10 in Vietnamese at the market and successfully bargaining for dragon fruit.
Yes.
Not the guided tour, but getting lost in the lantern streets of Hoi An and discovering that getting lost is half the adventure. La la la, right? So, which Vietnam will your family experience? That's the CTA or thought that you're left with. And this would be a reel that I assume parents would share with each other and other parents in their mom group and so on, just to inspire their travel. So I want to try and figure out how I can piece that together. So let me just you know
Okay, nice
create a new
script.
file. It's generated by Claude, by the way. Opus 4
Okay.
for the win. All right, so I can see that there is a canvas, there is this co-pilot mode, and then there's a compose mode. So okay, this compose feels more like a good old editing timeline view that I'm used to. Copilot probably feels like a place where I can, you know, I don't know, perhaps generate a script, imagery,
Yes.
create a character, of course, open ended. What I can't figure out is Canvas, but I guess Canvas looks more like all the assets that I have at my disposal that I can
Hmm.
create and park assets and so on. So let me just dump dump the script into the Copilot. I want to create a real say travel influencer mom narrating this out. Let's see what this does. Just gonna paste the entire script that I have, right? I want
Nice.
this in a 9:16 format, of course, because that's what
Yeah.
works on Reels. I want to try, a realism and see how far I can stretch that. Though I know, there are, um, yeah. Then I know that models aren't perfect, but if not, I would also want to try anime because I think
Hmm.
I'd probably have a better strike rate with that, right? If I want to just ship volumes, I know that I could probably go with anime or flat anime and ship that too. But let's try it the hard way here and see what happens. So yeah, I've posted the
So
script out. Let's see what
I'm sure
happens.
you've used Figma, right? So in a way, like that Figma canvas is kind of like our
hmm
canvas here, but I guess it's hard to understand, right? That you can,
Yeah, when it's a blank, I think I can't. I mean, I can't imagine what goes on here, right? So maybe some tooltip or
yeah.
some info box here around what this is supposed to help me with
Hmm.
would be helpful, and probably starting on a copilot, which is I think at this point of time stuff at this point of time what I'm used to, right, would be more helpful. So okay, so the copilot has gotten back to me with multiple scenes. This makes sense. This makes, I think broadly these are the scenes that I would want to go ahead with. Makes sense. Um, I think I just want to give it some feedback before we go ahead through my experience. I know that reels work best when each frame is, let's say, mm, 1.5 to 2.5 seconds long, right? So break down each scene into multiple frames. Total duration that I want to run for, I think, is like 40-45 seconds. So let me just feed that in for context. 40 to 45 seconds for this script. What else do I want to tell this basis what I already know so that I can start off on the right footing, right? I don't want to do a lot of rework. Um, yeah. So I'd love for the images to look a little more amateur shot, right? I'd love
Hmm.
for the footage to seem like to have an amateur vibe to it, raw travel footage, rather than well produced studio footage shot on an iPhone. I know an old enough iPhone, right? iPhone 13 wipes. That's what I'm gonna, let's say, go for. Include a bunch of first. Yeah, okay. I think this is good enough for now. I want to see what this does for me.
I
Yeah,
expect it now to give you like every single scene, right, as an image.
I want to see what happens. I mean, I'm impressed that with the scene-wise breakdown. Now, I know that this each scene will have to be broken down into frames, right? So it should probably tell me that okay, for this scene I've identified these as particular frames,
Mhm.
because that is the that's the process that I ran on Claude, saying break this down, break each scene down into a frame. So it kind of does that here, right? So each scene has been broken down into a rather natural rhythm. So let me just see the spring roll making scene. Just to Vietnamese grandmother, Western children at table, iPhone camera tilted, yeah, close up, makes sense. Smiling face, makes sense. Family on motorbike from behind, makes sense. So I think maybe one thing that this is kind of missing out on is right now for this is the contrast that I want to draw, right? Like this has missed out on the contrast of not the hotel pool or uh, not the tourist boats, right? It's missed out on the contrast. So let me just give it that feedback. I think looking at this, I think it should be able to understand what I'm going for. We missed
Yeah.
out on
Once it grabs the
the
context, you can then kind of like prompt it, can you generate scene one? Or like just generate scene two like that.
yeah. So we're missing out on the X bit. Want a quick shot of that hotel pool, the boats in let's say Halong Bay, and so on. This will make the output much more compelling. So I think this should work. And only once I'm, I think, happy, will I want the frames to be generated, of course,
Nice, awesome.
because I don't want to get into a rework, right? I think just getting the storyboard right is half the job done well.
Yeah.
By the way, can I shift? Can I? Do you think I'll be able to shift? Okay, so another thing is like what's kind of spooked me out is that the format has, tripped back to 1:1. Now, I don't know whether that has any material impact on what I want. Like, when do I really select these? At
You
what step?
only you can only select. I mean, it makes sense to now select the format once you're generating the image or video. So now, if you let's say
Got it.
want to generate scene one, you would just make sure it's set to 9 by 16 or whatever format you need.
Generating these 23 frames, hell yes. Let's go.
Okay, just a note here. It
Hmm.
mostly will work if you do one at a time. So just ask it, or like it can do three at a time, honestly. So let's go for this. Let's see what it does.
Let's
If it
see what
doesn't
it
work,
does. If it
yeah,
doesn't, then we can go scene by scene, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna stress test it. Let's generate all the frame. Let's see. Let's break this because that's the dream, right? Although it's pretty useless. Uh, it's probably a waste of compute slash credits getting all of it done. But I don't know. I've never shot like gotten footage for all of these reels in one shot, and then try to rework the screen. The the storyboard. So yeah, okay. Error occurred. Is this because I've asked you to generate all the frames?
Okay, so I think what happened is that it's really long right now. So I think let's go one at a time. Um, I think we were just stress testing it, right? So let's try
Yeah.
to just go one at a time.
Generate
So
frames.
one. Now, if this is also giving an error, what we'll do is copy paste the prompt and go to Canvas and generate the image.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, seeing this is like
How's
self.
this gonna how is this gonna work out in terms of character consistency?
Okay, yeah. So, you know, if you want like a specific character, let's say you want this girl, now, for the further prompts, you can say like keep this girl consistent and then generate the next scene.
Got it.
Yeah. This way, okay, so there's two ways, right? One is you can prompt it, right? But if you want like more in-depth or like longer format videos, you would train a character model for this girl. But
Mhm.
yeah, you can just mention, keep her consistent.
Let's say this works. Mm, I think that from a storytelling point of view, the prompts I can see haven't really picked up. Like they've picked up the mom bit over here, but could have done a better job at picking um, the fact that this is all about kids, right?
Okay, so
So
like for kids' point of view,
having a
maybe like
yeah,
you can
having a
follow up and say
kid in
make
the
this for
frame,
kids. Yeah.
right? So this makes this hotel pool frame make sense. I think this kind of breaks. This is where I realized, this was one of the toughest parts. Uh, this is where the consistency kind of can break, right? So you're the grandmother. Wait, okay, it's supposed to be the mom. The grandmother has disappeared from here. So what is the ideal? So if I want to give it feedback on this,
So
what do I do here?
okay, so for example, scene three, right? The grandma's not consistent, right? So you can write in
The
scene three.
grandmother might be. I want this to be the grandmother instead of the you know
Okay, so you can say in scene three, replace the woman with the grandmother and keep her consistent from scene two.
replace the. Okay, if this works, this will be pretty magical. Because otherwise, it's this is character consistency is a tough nut.
Yeah, see, if we have more time, we would train a character model for the, grandma and mom, given
Hmm.
that they're going to be consistent across. But right now, we're just working with, reference images. So
Makes sense.
yeah, if it doesn't work here, we'll take it to Canvas and then do the flow from there. Okay, why?
I think my prompt was wrong.
Okay, so let's do one thing.
You get
Um,
what happened? Instead of scene two, I typed scene three.
so
Uh,
let's do one
s-
thing.
hmm.
Let's add your images that you like. Let's add it to your assets. So which ones do you like from whatever has been generated so far?
I like the hotel pool. I think I'm okay with this as well. So
Okay,
this is how
and
I
you want
add, right?
yeah, add, press add. Um, did it work?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and add also the third scene, second and third scene here.
So I need to go back to the Copilot.
I guess your screen is frozen.
No, no, I need to go back to the Copilot and let's say I need to add it, right? Add to. So do I add it to canvas or do I add it to assets?
Do add to canvas. Okay, do it for
Okay.
all scenes, and that way we can. I'll show you how you can edit the second and third scene to keep the character consistent.
So all of these images come on a canvas.
Correct. So I think your screen is frozen actually.
I can wait. Let me try resharing my screen
Yeah.
because it's working for me. Wait 1 second. I think this has opened up new. What happened is I think it opened up more tabs.
Oh, okay.
1 second. This should be visible, right? Hold on.
Hmm.
Yeah, my screen has been shared. I can see it in my StreamYard.
Yeah, yeah. Naman is just gonna show.
Okay, let me add more.
So yeah, okay. Given that your assets are on canvas, basically now what you can do is, let's say so you select that second frame, right, where the grandma and mom were there. So
Hmm.
just select that frame, and then you'll see like this mini prompt bar that comes up right below the image in Canvas.
Okay, I'm going to
Okay, your screen is full now.
canvas and this is the prompt, right?
So go to the second frame or
Okay,
the third frame. Where is the frame that you like the grandma and the
one
daughter?
second. This one.
Yes, add this to Canvas as well. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. So actually, we just released this new update yesterday where uh, now what you can do is if you select the select the third one.
Hmm.
So Flux Context basically now allows you to like reference images much better. So
Yeah.
now if you want to keep this, woman and grandma consistent, now in the prompt, so you see that mini prompt bar that shows up.
Hmm.
So we're trying to now generate this new scene of them cutting vegetables, right? Similar to the second frame.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so now go.
I want the grandmother to show up here,
Okay.
right? I want this
So,
grandmother to show up here instead of this woman.
okay, so let's like basically copy this prompt. So on the right hand side in the so you would select the second frame.
Second frame, and then I
Yeah,
copy this
copy.
prompt.
Correct.
I
Copy this.
clicked yes.
Now go to the third frame
Hmm.
because these are the characters you want consistent, right? So we're gonna work with this image. Copy paste this prompt from the second image, right? So copy paste, yeah. And let's edit it a bit and write in the beginning that keep the women consistent. Keep the women the same.
Right at the top,
Yeah, so in the top you can just write keep the woman consistent.
keep the grandmother consistent, right?
Keep the woman and grandmother, yeah, consistent.
Hmm.
Correct.
And then I need
And
to
now
select a reference image or
no, 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 we don't because this is the reference image, whatever we've selected, right? So
okay.
if we scroll down a bit, let's just remove a part of the prompt so that like maybe the first line of the actual prompt so that characters we can delete.
Just this, or
Yeah, just like we'll like, delete the part where it's, mentioning the woman, right? Because in the beginning we just added to keep these two consistent. So
so
characters
should
mom.
I just wipe the entire prompt out, or what part of the prompt should I wipe out?
Just wipe up the first line of the
Okay,
prompt. Yeah.
this line.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. That's it. Yeah. I mean, because we want the 8-year-old still there, so we'll keep the 8-year-old part of it.
So the just the oh my god.
So essentially, what we're doing is we're editing the prompt, right? So there was a line in the prompt that described the man, the woman, and the grandma. So we're
Hmm.
gonna delete that part because now in the first line we just added, from this image, keep the woman and grandma same.
Okay, I'm done with removing the grandma. And the mom, should I remove the mom as well, or what?
Yeah,
What about that?
yeah. Remove the mom
Okay,
and remove that bit that says characters all caps. Yeah, cool. I think this should keep the woman. They are holding. Uh, yeah, this should be fine. Let's try it. So essentially, what we're doing is just we're prompting, the thing to say, keep these two consistent. The old prompt had a description for the woman and grandma. So we wanted to get rid of that description and replace it with this prompt.
got it. Okay, I think this is still skip the kids.
Yeah, I think we deleted that kids
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
So I gotta delete this, right? Let me just delete
So
this,
how about
and I
let's do
gotta.
one more thing? In the prompt,
Mhm.
just say add a kid to it. Add a kid.
Let's say. By the way, what model are we using here to generate these static images? Any idea on that?
We're using kind of like a mix of all different open source models for these. So depending on the prompt and stuff, it'll
Got
address
it.
specific model.
Okay, so this is, I think, context at play. Yes, I've got this kid here,
Hmm.
which is okay for now. I mean, you can roll with that.
Okay.
And I want to change this into get the lady out of here and put the grandmother here. So let me just. But I can't. It's hard to get this grandmother to show up here, right?
Let's do one
Are,
thing. Can we try to use in painting? So in painting is you can select a specific region. So on the top, you'll see a toolbar,
mhm.
and go to the right one more. Yeah, left of this once. Left, left. No, it'll be region selection is what it's gonna be called. Okay, so yeah, this one.
Mhm.
So now select the part of the image where you want the grandma. So we want to replace this woman, right? So you can
Yeah,
draw a
but
box.
can't I just prompt that? I should be able
You
to prompt
can,
that.
you can prompt it, but this is just giving you a little more of that granular effort, right? Like, okay,
Let
this.
me try just prompting it. I am pretty confident that Flux would be able to I mean, context would be able to handle this. Turn the woman into, let's say, a grandmother dressed in a mustard yellow tee or mustard yellow, whatever top. Um, Gray hair.
So while you do this, I'll also quickly show you how you
Hmm.
can convert this image to a video. So maybe
Hmm.
if you want to go to the pool scene once,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Now we prompt the motion you want.
So I can just go to the video
Okay.
mode and let's say, okay, let's say I want uh, kids or whatever, like people lazing in the pool, playing around.
Hmm.
Okay, that should be good enough.
Yeah, and another thing you can do is because Copilot had given you a prompt for the clips, you can copy paste those prompts as well. Because I think a big thing when it comes to generative AI is prompting properly. So that's
Hmm.
kind of why we built Copilot in the first place, where, to help people with stuff like this. Yeah, so we can copy paste that specific prompt.
Can I stop this generation for now, or
If you want to
it's
stop it,
okay?
you can just delete it. Yeah.
I guess I can't delete what's not completed yet. But it's okay. I think once the API request is fired, it's not. Yeah. Okay. So this photo should have ideally changed, right? Actually, let me put this prompt in and see what happens. We just generate another video. Uh, we tried. Prompting this lady to turn into a grandmother, right? That does not seem to have happened.
Yeah, I think, did you delete the generation or what happened? Did it
Nah,
not come up?
it got done. Let me prompt
Oh.
again.
Turn the woman into a grandmother. Turn the woman in the front into a grandmother.
Okay, we've got a lot of assets.
Awesome.
Okay, this is we've got a grandmother at the very least.
Yeah.
Perhaps I should have prompted it to get me a Vietnamese grandmother.
So, okay, usually, the core workflow, how we would go about
Hmm.
it is like you would
Train a.
start with that reference image that has the people you want to keep consistent, and then you
Hmm.
would create that next frame. I think because we had two initial frames, it got a bit tricky. But if we just
But
started with, yeah,
I should be able to download this, let's say, and then upload it um, into this prompt, right? Should be able to try it with that. Let's say, yeah, we'll select from canvas. Let's say this. I want the grandmother to replace the woman on the left. Okay, our video also seems to have been fully baked. So this was the first video, I guess.
mm,
This was the second video. I don't think there should be much of a difference.
I guess the camera's just moving in this.
Yeah, just the camera
Yeah.
drifting.
So is this like to your liking, the motion?
I think it could be a lot more realistic.
Okay, what's
That
not
that
realistic about them?
uh, so I think it starts with the image, right?
Yes.
This is a little low quality. So
Oh,
of
okay,
course
yeah, you can always upscale it. Yeah.
the input like the faces are a little blurred out and so on. So that probably translates into the video output as well. So the physics is not bad. Physics is definitely not bad. It's just the jitter
Hmm.
on the frame. That's I think one of the things here. The jitter on the frames,
Hmm.
and here, for example, because the input image of was of low quality, the motion sort of
Right.
struggles.
So, usually the way to combat this is we would upscale the video, um,
Hmm.
and usually by upscaling you would be able to get everything much more clear.
So I think
But
here
tell
it
me,
would work better, right?
yeah, how does-
Rolling the spring rolls while the kid looks on and let's say claps with glee. Let's just see how this goes. But yeah, I think here with the reference image, I think that reference image trick still hasn't worked. It has replaced the lady with another kid. So this part of the workflow is clearly not working as intended.
interesting.
But let's see if the moment this video gets done, we can try putting these things together.
Hmm.
I'm going to animate this as well. Say get busy. Let's just so that we can have one frame or one frame right in place.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to play on a bit more with some of the frames to get the character, but the context, like the new model Flux context, should help a lot with this. So let's. I guess
Mhm.
I'll try it out more offline as well.
Yeah, it's a very new model, and I mean implementing that is not trivial, right? Like I think it still has its rough edges in that sense. But let's say we have one good frame here, right?
There we go. Okay.
We've got one good frame, and I hope these frames as well develop well. We can then try and piece them together, create one scene. Let me, I think, also try and generate some images with some of the prompts that I kind of had for this.
Sure. Yeah.
Let me grab those 1 second. Okay, because creating these frames itself was It's a non-trivial task. Okay, let me try to do this. So yeah, I seem to have. Yeah, I think the prompt adherence here is not great. Like the one-line prompt that I gave did not work. The grandmother
Hmm.
is clapping. The physics here
Yeah.
is a little off. It's probably a artifact generated by the model. Um, yeah, I think the physics, the model, the underlying image to video generation model could get much more powerful. There are pretty powerful models right now that could probably be, you know, used to power
Yeah.
these, in my opinion. Like a
Okay, so I
Kling,
feel, yeah, go ahead.
like a Kling would probably do a good job
Hmm.
at these. Now look at these. These are images that are generated by my prompt. I think
Hmm. Yeah, I think we just need to like play around a bit more with the image to video prompts. I think two or three will get you to that output that you would want. Ideally, obviously, one is ideal,
to
but
be honest, if I'm to be critical here, I think the model that is being used, the underlying model, is relatively weak. That
hmm.
it's not able. Like I mean, this is straightforward physics here. The prompt has sort of this is kind of strayed away from strayed away from what the prompt has been like.
Okay, rolling spring rolls while a kid looks on and claps with glee. Okay, let's try one more prompt. Okay, let's try one
Hmm.
more. Let's go to the image.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say grandmother is rolling spring rolls.
Should I use my prompt and then
Yeah,
we can
use
iterate
use
on it?
sure use that prompt.
Say okay, that the prompt is not that powerful actually. It's the kid rolling spring rolls, but yeah, the grandmother is rolling spring rolls. 1 second. Mm, yeah, go on. Tell me.
Yeah, so let's try one thing. Grandmother is rolling the spring rolls. The kid is clapping.
Okay, let us go with the video. Yeah, honestly, I mean, to get it right, models are not necessarily cheap, right? The video models are not necessarily cheap, so it's definitely a trek. I think I've spent $20-$30 to just get one decent like 30
Right.
second piece together. So yeah, okay, it's gonna take some time, I guess. In the
Yeah.
meantime, we can, let's say, I can try animating these. I think I may let me just see how this sort of works, right? And then some other frames that I can add those. Yeah, so this is more in line with the same setting, if you notice.
Yeah. Nice.
But the
Okay.
spring rolls definitely look. This one
Big.
looks a little fake. This one's fine. These don't look like spring rolls. This one's okay. We can work with these. Yeah. So okay, this video is still being generated. Yeah. So how do we, let's say,
Okay.
use this? Imagine that these are videos that were great. Now what do I
Mhm.
do? How do I take them to stitch them together? Do I?
Yeah. So one, couple of things, right? Like if you want to add the captions and stuff, like you can use an external tool for captions. But here, if you want to like upgrade, like we call upscale the video, you can first upscale it, export it, or we can just directly use the videos that were generated. But for the sake of time, I think we can just I'll just quickly show
Yeah.
you. Um, you know how to upscale, right? So that would
Yep.
upscale to 4K. But for now, like we'll just drag and drop the current video. So basically, all of them show up in assets. I think you can also filter by videos. There should be that plus option on the top. Does that let you filter?
That's
Press.
for an upload.
Got it. Okay. So yeah. Where
I
did the
mean,
video?
let us joke with the swimming pool,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Then we want the video of one of the rice paper rolls, and then we want
Yes.
this,
Nice. Pretty decent.
right? Um, how do I, you know, can I get a audio narration generated as well, or is that not yet available?
It's in the pipeline, but you
Got
can
it.
drag and drop an audio. Like, let's say, have an audio file on your desktop. You can just drag it into this. You can edit with audio here, but you can't generate audio yet.
Got it. So I need to. I can upload audio in here, I guess.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not sharing it with sharing my screen with audio, so that's all right.
That's okay. Yeah, but that file will show up.
Got it. All right. I think I get a hang of this now.
Nice. So I know you're going to be making a lot more like this sort of content. So you can use the similar workflow for this. I think, because we had a set amount of time, the amount of
Hmm.
iterations we're doing is very less. But I think, within two
Yeah,
to
it
three.
takes. As I said, it takes me a very long. I mean, it took me a few, you know,
Hmm.
uh, days to get it right. So sure, it's not easy to crack it. But I think at the same time, I definitely like, um, of course, to see better models here to that are being used for both the image generation as well as especially in the in real, like the realism setting, right? I'd like to see much more powerful models being used here. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
100%.
that is how I would at least think of it.
Yeah. Awesome. So if you go back to compose, when you do like, drag you drop all the stuff, align it, you can go ahead export it. But yeah, this is kind of your editor in a way. We'll just need to make sure there's a slight bug. We are fixing it right now, but in between the clips, let's make sure there's no gaps like at all.
Mhm.
Should be good. Oh my god, this is twin.
Got it.
Awesome.
This is
Okay,
neat. I
great.
think makes sense from a workbench point of view, right? My only feedback is that, I mean, sure, for a general, tool, from a general tool point of view, I think this is this makes a lot of sense. Uh, when it comes to specific workflows, let's say if I'm just going for a reel, right, it's a very specific type of,
Yeah.
you know piece of content. Then the needs and the requirements kind of, you don't need an open canvas in
Correct.
that sense. You know what exactly you're going for. You know how
Yeah.
short your clips are going to be. Of course,
Correct.
here we're dealing with a particular type of a clip, right? A setting. It's
Mm.
not like the talking head, a video scene as well, right? So I think for specific asset types, some constraints imposed on the flow uh, make sense. But that's
Hmm.
not, I think, what Morphic is. It's a more general purpose tool, right?
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see how, let's say, if I just want to work on a reel, how I can have a workbench just dedicated to that. Like as I said, faster cuts, right? It just gets what works for a reel.
Oh, I
It's
see.
like it's very
For real.
opinionated,
Yeah. For real.
right? For a reel.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure,
yeah.
no, that makes sense. I understand. But yeah, no, I think the idea with Canvas, like the reason we built Canvas like that is so that like you can edit it, whatever you need
Mhm.
to specifically. Um, but yeah, I know you are yet to kind of explore some of the more editing features on there, but
And I think from a UX point of view, frames and so on, in my opinion at least, are better off linked with a particular scene. Right now,
mm,
scenes exist as a concept on Copilot, but
yes,
they're not showing up either in the compose mode or the canvas mode. Like this, there's no definition of a scene. I can't go scene by scene. Canvas ends up becoming like a open canvas, right? I might
correct.
just want to work with things scene by scene, and under the scene, like work on specific frames. Right? There's a certain hierarchy, and I'd want to maintain that
Ah, I see.
hierarchy as I
So,
work through, because I might want to tweak things at a scene level or at a particular frame.
right. No, makes sense. That 100% makes sense. Kind of like project. Within a project, you have your scenes, and then within each scene, you have your grouped frames for it, and you can work by like that.
Yeah,
Okay. I see. No, that's good feedback. Okay. This is great. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, like definitely would love to have you try it out a bit more as well. We can play around more now that you've got the hang of like the initial workflows.
yep,
And
yep.
let's see, hopefully, you get kind of the output you are expecting in a much less time compared to like your original workflow. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I have to bounce as well for
Yeah.
now, but this was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Raj. This is great.
Yep.
This is so fun to see you be a creator. Looking forward. I feel like you have that uh, creator within
Always
you.
been a creator. Yeah.
Yeah, you've always been one. So this is awesome. Thank you for doing this, Raj. And yeah, cool. We'll chat soon.
Cool. See you
See
around.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, folks.
Bye.